The degree itself is BPS accredited, so that makes sure that it applies to the first stage of the forensic psychology pathway. Several modules that are really focused on like a holistic understanding for forensic psychology. So that includes focusing on like cybercrime, so really modern day criminal kind of profiles, but also approaching kind of the multitude of systems. So this can be trying to interpret why somebody would commit crimes, looking at victims and what might make somebody prone to being a victim, but also looking at within that prison service as well as when they're outside of the prison service. So this could be through things like social services afterwards, probation services. So it's not just focused on a criminal profile like you'd see on TV, but it's looking at the true reality of what the systems actually entail and really going through that in depth. So I'm Alex Baxendale and I'm a lecturer in psychology at Coventry University. So the course provides a general overview, but some modules might focus on some aspects compared to others. So for example, there's a module that's dedicated towards looking at interventions with forensic social groups, but there's another module that's focused on management, risk management with clients, which would focus less on kind of like trying to like profile people. So a lot of the classes that we have are recognizing the fact that people have their own careers, and a lot of students that we get are professionals that are looking to upskill and get accreditation. So they themselves in the design of the course are made to be able to facilitate that and encourage that. Within the kind of cycle that the lessons work in, it's really useful to be able to kind of plan ahead to make sure that students know what they're going to be doing within the future and to be able to prepare. But one of the advantages of the way that the classes are set up is that we just focus on one module rather than jumping around in topics. You just have one kind of solid track mind of what it is that we're going to be doing. No, so it would be useful to have some kind of experience, or if you have like a degree in psychology, it would help to bridge some of this. But the course is designed to try and give you as much kind of ground up experience and understanding that would be required from you. This does also include research experience. There are a couple of modules that are focused on ethics, designing research, and running your own independent project as well. The modules themselves are also built to be flexible as possible, so bringing in new current information as much as we can and creating those discussions where students can choose to get as engaged within those discussions with one another as they want to. So we're constantly building these lessons to allow us to change what we're talking about as examples to keep it as real and as fresh as possible to real world contexts. So the final module that we have is quite a natural progression. So the first module that we give is the ethics and project planning module, which gets students set up for their dissertation, whilst the final module is fulfilling that dissertation. So throughout the academic year, they're already working on that. And so when they reach that final module, the vast majority of the stuff that they need has already been completed. So they've worked one-on-one with their supervisor to be able to plan out and then enact that project that they have in mind. And then that last section is really just trying to finalize how should you be presenting your research, so writing your dissertation, how you should be kind of focusing on data analysis and again presenting data as well. So we've got a couple of different kinds of students. The main kind of student body that we have are active professionals that work within the forensic field, and they are just looking to upskill, get some accreditation. The course itself is the first stage of becoming a forensic psychologist, and so those that are working as perhaps an assistant psychologist would want to do a degree like this to be able to then progress further within their field. The other kind of student we get are students that are looking to maybe take their time a little bit. Online degrees allow for a lot more accessibility in terms of people's personal lives. When we do our classes, one of the things that we like to do is build in activities at the end of each little section that we do every week. And they can be a wide variety of different activities. So for example, we might give a quiz where students just go through multiple choice questions, or they could be open-ended questions as well. We oftentimes give things like videos and podcasts. TED Talks are quite popular to just say, give this a watch, 20 minutes, just to get a better understanding of maybe a specific researcher's perspective on that specific field. We'll also do stuff like give research papers or summaries of research articles and encourage students to maybe reflect on those. I've seen activities and given activities to students where we've asked them to talk about their own personal experience about something and then reflect on one another's kind of explanations of what it is that they've done. Students get to pick their own research, so you get a designated supervisor in a one-on-one scenario that's going to be there to help oversee your project and give you advice. But the students themselves get to pick specifically what they want to do. We've had a wide variety of students that have engaged with forensic practices. I've seen students that have done that currently work for prison services that do their research within that prison service to bridge their studies with their professional life. Depending on the project that the students go with, they could either be quantitative or qualitative. And one of the things that we really focus on is giving students the skills to do either of those. So it might be that they want to conduct interviews and do a thematic analysis on what they get back from the prisoners or the prison guards that they're working with, or they might be going for something more quantitative and giving out surveys across a wider group of individuals. Oh, that's a difficult one. I feel at heart that I'm very open. I will say stuff all the time that I'm kind of like, probably shouldn't have said that. That's telling a little bit too personal information. But I feel like if I was put in a traitor situation, it'd be an interesting way to figure out if I could actually overcome that or not. I'd probably default to saying faithful there.